So I want to pivot to China because I think the government of China is watching us very closely. It's pretty clear that when Russian troops amassed on the eastern Ukraine border last fall, the administration lacked a cohesive strategy to respond. Many of us have warned that a similar situation is occurring between China and Taiwan. Now, for example, Chairman Xi has vowed to, quote, smash, end quote, any attempts at independence by Taiwan. We've seen an unprecedented incursion by the Chinese into Taiwanese airspace, including sending dozens of planes into Taiwan's air defense identification zone. Has the administration issued a warning of sanctions or a threat of sanctions to Beijing to deter military action by China against Taiwan?
So clearly the administration and the Treasury Department are opposed to any unilateral change in the status quo with respect to Taiwan. And we are working very closely with our partners in the administration to make sure that we have at our disposal tools to respond to provocations in that regard. I'm not going to comment on hypotheticals and what we would do in any particular scenario, but I will assure you that we are closely coordinating with all of our interagency partners to make sure that we will be able to respond appropriately.
Has the administration contemplated a sanctions strategy in the event of a Chinese move against Taiwan?
I'm not going to comment on specifics. We have put sanctions in China in place on China with respect to forced labor in Xinjiang and provocations with Hong Kong. But certainly we are concerned about Taiwan and will act as appropriate.
And that would include, including sanctioning senior leaders of the Chinese government, as has been done with Russian oligarchs. Are you to say, am I to hear from you that you're open to all tools available in the event that China moves aggressively towards Taiwan?
Absolutely. I believe we've shown that we can. In the case of Russia, we threatened significant consequences. We've imposed significant consequences. And I think that you should not doubt our ability and resolve to do the same in other situations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Velasquez, who is also the chair of the House Committee on Small Businesses, now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Secretary Yellen, many of us on this committee are concerned about the potential use of cryptocurrencies and other digital assets to evade international sanctions imposed on Russia for its illegal invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. and other G7 nations recently pledged to work together to ensure the Russian state, its elites, and oligarchs will not be able to utilize digital assets to sidestep these sanctions. How is the Treasury Department working to carry out this pledge?
Well, we are concerned about sanctions avoidance, and we recognize that digital assets present opportunities for doing exactly that. So first, I would say that we're monitoring for any attempts to use cryptocurrency to evade our sanctions, and we have ample enforcement authority, which we won't hesitate to use. We are tracking carefully, using all the tools at our disposal, the assets of oligarchs and other sanctioned individuals. We're working very closely, exchanging information on this with our partners in the so-called repo task force. The Department of Justice announced a new task force called Klepto Capture, which is designed to use U.S. law enforcement resources to identify and prosecute sanctions evasion. And FinCEN issued an alert to financial institutions to help them recognize suspicious transactions in this regard.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.